Two different interest groups from two totally different perspectives are now calling for an end to policing for profit in Tennessee. The conservative-leaning Beacon Center and the American Civil Liberties Union both want lawmakers to repeal civil forfeiture laws that let police take cash off of drivers without ever charging them with a crime. It follows a 2-year NewsChannel 5 investigation led by Chief Investigative Reporter Phil Williams.
Yeah, both sides sat down to talk for an upcoming NewsChannel 5 Investigate special. One side comes from the perspective of protecting property rights. The other side is focused on civil rights. But this is one area where they clearly agree.
We believe policing for profit should be banned altogether.
Two very different voices.
There's a real problem with the system. It's clearly corrupt.
With a common message.
Tiene mucho dinero en su truck y trailer.
About laws that let police take cash off of drivers based on the suspicion that it might be drug money. It's a practice that NewsChannel 5 Investigates discovered.
This right here, they tore it.
Has victimized all sorts of drivers passing through Tennessee. Is this the case of strange bedfellows?
It can often be the case of strange bedfellows when you have a conservative-leaning organization like ourselves and an organization on the other side of the aisle like the ACLU, but we're both committed to civil liberties.
And because the police agencies often get to keep the money, our investigation discovered officers are much more focused on the side of the interstate where the money might be flowing out, virtually ignoring the flow of drugs into the state.
You have to ask yourself, when there are 10 times more stops on the money side than the drug side, what good is that doing?
They say it hits the drug traffickers in the pocketbook.
You want to hit them in the pocketbook, get the drugs. That's what the criminal statutes require. You go after the drugs. But what happens when you're going after the money because you're motivated by profit is you ensnare innocent victims in the process.
With civil forfeiture, you're guilty until proven innocence, and you're required then to hire an attorney, which requires resources, to try to fight to get your money back. It's a legal maze. It is not a pretty picture. It takes years and years.
Now, lawmakers are considering the creation of a special committee to study the issue before the coming legislative session. But any attempt to repeal such civil forfeiture laws, as they're called, is expected to face stiff opposition from the state's DAs. They say they could not afford their drug task forces without this money.
So is there any middle ground here, any kind of compromise?
Well, it's possible. One idea that was floated this past legislative session would have allowed police to continue to seize the money if they really believed it to be drug money, but the money, the cash, would have gone to the state. In other words, it would have taken out the profit motive, removed the potential for a conflict of interest, but the DAs didn't like that idea either.
All right, thanks, Phil. So should police be able to take your cash if they suspect you're up to no good? Phil wraps up his 2-year Policing for Profit investigation with a special presentation Friday night at 7. The 1-hour documentary includes never-seen video and new interviews. If you're not going to be home, be sure to set your DVR.